The violence in Malda has now reached the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has wrapped the Mamata government over the violence in Malda, where 7 judicial officials were gheraoed and surrounded for over 8 hours. The Chief Justice of India wrapped the Mamata government, saying that the collector was not present until 11 o'clock and that he had to issue very harsh verbal instructions at night. He also noted that a 5-year-old child was not allowed food or water. Now, the Supreme Court also said that this incident is a blatant attempt to intimidate judicial officers and challenge the authority of the court. Now, it was not routine but appears to be a planned and deliberate move to demoralize them. Now, viewers, the violence in Malda has now reached the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has wrapped the Mamata government over the violence in Malda, where 7 judicial officials were gheraoed and surrounded for 8 hours. Now, the Chief Justice of India wrapped the Mamata government, saying that the collector was not present until 11 o'clock and that he had to issue very harsh verbal instructions at night. Now, viewers, I'm being joined by the input editor of News9, Brijesh Pandey, from the newsroom. Now, Brijesh, the Supreme Court has come down heavily on the Mamata government, and the Supreme Court says that this is a direct challenge in fact, the Supreme Court said that it is a blatant attempt to intimidate judicial officers and challenge the authority of the court. Brijesh.
Well, I think, what happened late last night was something which was extremely unprecedented as far as elections are concerned. And if you go by the observations which have been made by the Chief Justice of India, it is very clear that he is extremely upset with the way the entire thing has been handled. He virtually took Mamata Banerjee government to cleaners, and some of the key observations which was made by the Chief Justice of India clearly tells you what the court, Apex Court, feels about the incident which took place last night. The Chief Justice said that he had to verbally instruct very harsh orders at night, and he said till 11 o'clock government collector did not reach Malda and he had to instruct a very harsh order at night. He also said that it was not a routine incident but appears to be a calculated, motivated, and this is also an abdication of duty by the West Bengal government. Apart from that, he also goes on to say that he has directed the Election Commission of India to deploy central forces for the safe working of judicial officers. He also said that they have to deploy forces at the residence of these officers who are undertaking this kind of scrutiny. And he also goes on to say that if any judicial officer has any apprehension regarding threat to his family or threat perception, it has to be assessed immediately and security has to be provided to them. And he was also, the court had also said that Election Commission of India and state government are directed to take all remedial measures for the safe functioning of the judicial task. And he has also taken, castigated Chief Secretary, DGP and the state chief electoral officers, and they asked them to submit a detailed report on the incident which took place when 7 judicial officers were gheraoed for more than 10 hours in Malda.
Now, Brijesh, if officers who have been appointed by the Supreme Court are not safe in a state, so what kind of message does it send across about the governance of that particular state?
Well, I think, what happened last night is something which is not only a very brazen attempt on part of the state machinery to not intervene a situation which could have escalated and gone down south very quickly, and also the fact that, as Chief Justice of India said, it is a direct challenge and a challenge to the authority of the Apex Court. Usually when it comes to a situation like this, whenever elections are being held in states, adequate security is provided to these judicial officers who are undertaking this particular task at the instruction of the Apex Court or the Kolkata High Court. So it's very, very interesting to see, or would be interesting to know that why no such security was provided to them. And I think, once the reports submit, there will be the SSP and the collector and the DGP of the state would definitely will be pulled up by the Chief Justice of both Kolkata High Court as well as the Apex Court, because this is a clear dereliction of duty, and the fact of the matter that the judicial officers who are doing the task of the Election Commission, which is entrusted with the job of holding a free and fair fair election being gherao and browbeat in such a brazen manner speaks very ill of the security and also of the state administration.
Well, Brijesh, the statement that has come in fact, from the judicial officers who were held hostage. In fact, they said that at around 3:30, when they were leaving the BDO office in Kalia Chowk, that particular time they saw a large amount of crowd gathering outside the BDO office in Kalia Chowk, and the police reached the location at around 11:30 to rescue these 7 judicial officers. Now, there has been lapses as far as the administration is concerned, but also looking at the large number of crowd which have been gathered in front of the BDO office, it does not seem that it is a simple public, spontaneous public backlash.
Well, it could be. You know, nobody is trying to get into whether it was a public or a state-sponsored or any particular party-sponsored protest outside the BDO. You know, there have been a run-in between the election officers and the Election Commission of India and various other opposition parties, where the opposition parties have been alleging that the Election Commission is working. The allegations are being made. The Election Commission is working at the behest of the central government. They are not satisfied with the functioning of the government. There could be protests. You know, when the Chief Election Commissioner of India, Ganesh Kumar came to Kolkata, you know, there were protests and slogans were raised against him. That is all right. But the point is that if there is a massive crowd which has gathered outside the BDO and there is no police or the Chief Secretary of the state or the DGP cannot be reached, because if I read this for you and for our viewers, Sabya, that the Chief Justice said that the High Court the Chief Justice of Kolkata High Court had said that this incident will have a chilling effect on the judicial officers, and he also said that he was extremely disappointed, and the Chief Secretary could not be contacted and his number was not there for the WhatsApp messages. So it is very clear that, you know, that while the protest can be either party sponsored or spontaneous or whichever way you want to look at it, but the fact of the matter is that the police machinery, the Chief Secretary could not be reached, and no kind of help can be provided. It is a very ringing indictment of the state administration. I mean, God forbid, this could have easily gone from bad to worse, because you know how the temper in the crowd runs, and it just takes one bad spark to go the entire situation south. And that is the reason why the Chief Justice of India has taken an extremely dim view of the way security paraphernalia has reacted to this particular situation. Sabya?
Well, Brijesh, at this particular time, the Trinamool Congress is stating that the law and order situation currently lies with the ECI, since the ECI has transferred all the officers from the state of West Bengal. So it is up to the ECI to take necessary action. Now, there are certain reports coming in that the ECI had set up 19 tribunals across the state. Now, these tribunals have been set up so that people who have a problem whose name is under adjudication, they can come to these tribunals to get some relief. Now, the people of Malda say that the tribunal was never set up in Malda, so that is the reason why they decided to block the National Highway 12 and also carry out protest in front of the BDO office and held hostage the 7 judicial officers.
Well, you know, there are two sides to the story. One is, yes, it is a fact of the matter that the administration virtually is working at the orders of the Election Commission of India, and you know, I personally believe that going by the kind of tempers and the relationship between the Election Commission of India and the opposition parties is concerned, it would have been prudent to make sure that all of these judicial officers are not only entrusted with security at their disposal, but there's also enough security paraphernalia wherever they visit, because chances of what happened in Malda could have taken place any which way. And you know, the Election Commission should also look into the grievances of the people of Malda, where they're saying that none of these tribunals were you know, set up, and they don't know whether their vote will be there or the vote will be cut out. But the fact of the matter still is, Sabyasachi, that, you know, 7 judicial officers being held hostage by an unruly mob at Malda. And the fact of the matter is that despite Kolkata Chief Justice attempt to reach out to the collector, to attempt to reach out to the chief secretary, and also to the the DGP, and it did not fructify. He was not able to reach. I think that is a very ringing indictment of the law and order situation is there. And I think going by the tone and tenor of what the Chief Justice of India is saying, strict action should be taken against all those responsible because this could have been a big disaster in waiting.
Well, that's right. Thank you, and thank you so much, Brijesh, the input editor of News9, for giving us insights. Now, viewers, Supreme Court has come down heavily on the state government, and the Supreme Court has said that this is a blatant attempt to intimidate judicial officers and challenge the authority of the court. In fact, the Supreme Court said that it was not routine, but appears to be planned and deliberate move to demoralize them. Now, viewers, this comes after locals protested over the exclusion of names from the voter list. Now, the protest took place in Kalia Chowk, where residents gathered on the streets and blocked the Sujapur-Mothabari National Highway. Now, the highway remained blocked for nearly 15 hours, causing major disruption. And during the protest, 7 judicial magistrates were reportedly stuck on the highway. Now, following which the DIG, the SP and the ADM rushed to the spot with police forces to disperse the crowd. Now, BJP leader Sukanta Majumdar has raised serious concerns over the incident. Now, he alleged that judicial magistrates had gone there but were stopped and that their vehicles were vandalized. Take a look.
जो घटना घटी है वो सबको भयभीत कर देने वाली घटना है। 7 ऐसे जो जुडिशियल मजिस्ट्रेट गए थे उनको सिर्फ रोका गया, सिर्फ ये नहीं, जब वो वहां से पलायन कर रहे थे उनकी गाड़ी को तोड़ा गया। एसपी जब उनको उद्धार करके वहां से रेस्क्यू करके वहां से ले आ रहे थे, महिला जो हमारे ये थे जुडिशियल मजिस्ट्रेट थे उनकी गाड़ियों को तोड़फोड़ किया गया। कॉन्वॉय ना जा पाए इसके लिए वहां पे रास्ते के अंदर बांस डाले गए, बम्बू डाले गए कि कॉन्वॉय आगे ना बढ़े। और जिस तरीके से कि लेफ्ट फ्रंट के जमाने में अनीता देवान को इसी तरीके से एक महिला जस्टिस को गाड़ी से उतार कर पीट कर मार डाला गया था, उस तरीके की पूरी अभिसंधि थी, उस तरीके की पूरी प्लानिंग थी। और ममता बनर्जी का जो लगातार जो उसकाना, 1 सेकंड वाला उसकाना, उनका जो बयान, वो बयान इसके पीछे जिम्मेदार है।
Viewers, meanwhile, TMC's Kunal Ghosh has said that the party does not support such acts of surrounding judges or indisciplined behavior. He added that they are law-abiding citizens and he put the onus on the Election Commission, alleging that voters are being harassed. Listen.
कालिया चौक में एसआईआर को लेकर जो हो रहा है, ये जजेस को घेराव एक्सेट्रा, हम तृणमूल कांग्रेस एक बात साफ साफ हम लोग बोलना चाहते हैं, वी आर लॉ अबाइडिंग सिटीजन। हम ऐसा कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं और सपोर्ट भी नहीं कर रहे हैं जिसमें इनडिसिप्लिन्ड बिहेवियर ये सामने आ जाए। देखिए, जो सिचुएशन है इसके रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है इलेक्शन कमीशन का। नाम कौन बात दिया? इलेक्शन कमीशन। लीगल वोटर्स को हैरास कौन किया? इलेक्शन कमीशन। पुलिस का ये जो ट्रांसफर्स है एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का, कौन कर रहा है? इलेक्शन कमीशन। ये सब खेल इलेक्शन कमीशन खेल रहा है, तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी तो उनको ही लेना चाहिए। और रही बात ये एजिटेशन का, ये भाजपा का स्पॉन्सर जो 2-3 फोर्स को वो लोग करते हैं, ये वोट आ रहा है तो 2-3 पार्टी जो वो करता है उससे ये काम करा रहा है थोड़ा इशू बनाने के लिए।